Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Evelyn. This week's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys all of the equipment that I use to create the content that I do. So everything from my photos, my blog, my Instagram, my YouTube, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys everything that I use, and hopefully with this video I can not only share with you guys what I use but give you some tips as to like what you should look for when you're buying your equipment so you guys can create awesome content as well. So let's get started. So here are the things that you should look for when you are buying a camera. Number one, I always look for how many frames per second it goes, because personally I use cameras for video. And so that's important because you're gonna get better movement when you're filming a video than if you had a lower frame per second. So for me, I personally want a camera that has 60 frames per second, like my vlogging camera. So then that way, when I'm moving around and like trying to shoot myself, it doesn't look crazy and jittery and all over the place because of the slower frames per second. Plus, then you have the option of going back into editing and making them 24 frames per second if you choose to want that. And if you only have the option of 24 frames per second, then you can't really go the other way around. So therefore, that's one of the things that I definitely look for, and I love that in my camera that I use for my vlogging because it makes it look so smooth and pretty, and I love it. Second thing that you should look for is it a crop sensor? My Canon 60D is a crop sensor, and it limits me because it's not a full frame. They just look better, and you can get better lenses than as having a crop sensor, which has sucked for me. But yeah, so just find out if it is a full frame because that's really good to have, and it may be a little more pricey but definitely worth it in the end. Another thing that you should look for when you are buying a camera is make sure and double check that it has a flip out screen. Especially for me, where I use my cameras for video, I love and need to see myself while I'm filming so I know if it's going well and all that stuff, and especially for vlogging. So always make sure that it has a flip out screen if you're going to do video. So the last thing that's very important when you are looking for a camera is find out if it is a lightweight or a heavier base. Because for me, the Canon 60D was heavier than I ever expected, and then adding a lens to it makes it even more heavy. So when I go out shooting, it's definitely annoying to either carry it or to have it in hand, and it just makes people tired and it slows down the whole process. So that's not fun. So nowadays, honestly, they do build cameras a lot more lightweight anyway, but still something good to keep in mind when you are shopping for a camera. So let's move on to lenses. When you are going to look for a lens and you want to purchase a lens, here are the main things that I think that you should look for, or at least the things that I look for. I always make sure that a lens has a good aperture. An aperture is a number that's going to help you like when it comes to depth of field, which means a blurry background, or it also helps you with lighting. So a lower aperture means that your lens is going to open up more, and that means it's going to let in more light. So pretty much if you guys want to blur your background, a lower aperture of 1.4 or 1.2 is going to achieve that, and that's what I look for because I love having that effect on my images. Therefore I have a 1.4, but it is more expensive. Second thing that you look for when you are buying a lens is it a prime or is it a zoom lens? The difference between a prime and a zoom lens is that a prime lens is just one measurement, like a 22 millimeter. A zoom lens obviously is going to give you more than that, so like 18 to 35, and you can zoom in and out and get all of those different measurements. Is it even called measurement? I don't know what it's called. But the biggest difference between a prime and a zoom lens is that a prime lens will give you better quality. It's going to be sharper, it's going to be more defined, and a zoom lens is not going to be as great as a prime lens in that sense. But on the other hand, if you want to not have a bunch of different lenses, you can use a zoom lens and get different measurements, or you know? But of course, I prefer a prime lens just because of the quality. I prefer having better quality and sticking to just one per lens, which is fine. So let me go ahead and show you guys what I use. My main camera that I use for all of my photos on Instagram, unless it's obviously my phone, is this lovely thing over here. Ooh, she's hefty. This is a Canon 60D. I named her Linda because I love her and she's beautiful. And Linda in Spanish is beautiful. So this is my first camera that I ever owned. I love her. She's really good at what she does. I can't keep calling her she. It's really good at what it does. It is a great camera. It has really good quality. I think the only downside to this thing is how heavy it is. It's definitely not easy to take her out and like take photos and stuff just because of the weight on her. I also used to use her for more of my YouTube videos, but now I use my Sony, which is my next camera I was gonna mention. So the camera that I use for all of my vlog videos is a Sony a5100, which is what I'm using to film right now. I love this camera. It is very lightweight, but it's perfect. It has the frames per second that I wanted. It has great quality. It's good with low lighting. It's just an overall user-friendly and amazing camera because it autofocuses and it does so many things for you. Plus, it is the only Sony camera that has great quality that has a flip-up camera lens thing, a flip-up screen. Therefore, I can look at myself while I'm vlogging and filming. The lenses that I use is a 50mm. This one's a 1.4. This is the first lens I ever used. It became difficult just because when it comes to shooting street style or photography, it is more close. I guess that makes sense. Like, it's a closer lens because it is 50mm. Therefore, if I wanted to take a shot of myself like on the street, the person taking my photo will have to be super far away from me for it to be a decent image. If not, it's just gonna be like this much of me. So that didn't really work out for that, but it's really great for portraits. That's why I still own it. I love this lens. I just don't use it as much anymore. The one that I use for everything is this Sigma 20mm 1.4. And so this baby is my favorite. I use this for every single image that I post on my blog and most of the things I post on my Instagram. I also used to use it a lot for my YouTube, but now I use my Sony a5100 for that. But if I were to recommend like a beginner's lens, I would just go for 35mm because you can use it for everything. You can do them from far away and just step closer if you want something closer. So this monopod I only use for like if I'm going to be shooting a lookbook. That way I can like steady my camera more. And that's pretty much all I use this for, so I don't use it very often. Second tripod I have is this one. This one's a little more sturdy than the one that I actually use just because I lost the little plate for this. Kind of sucks, but this is more sturdy, which is nice. It's called a Vivitar. That's the brand of this. It's definitely good quality for something that's on the cheaper side, and it will keep your camera kind of in place instead of something that's more flimsy and it's going to fall. But this one is my preferred one. This is the one that I think someone left at my house because it is super heavy and it's definitely way better quality. This one is my favorite because on my big DSLR Canon 60D, if I use this with this, it's perfect and it won't fall. Because this thing, like I said, is so heavy and I will not trust this on any cheap tripod because I will not allow this to break. So if you have a bigger, heavier camera, I suggest going a little bit more on the expensive side so you can like make sure that it doesn't ever fall when you're shooting either horizontal or portrait. That's why I love this baby. And I am also using one right now. This tripod is on the cheaper side and I love it though just because for vlogging and my Sony camera, it's such lightweight that it really doesn't need anything else, and you can get this on Amazon for like $10 to $15. So if you're starting, it's a great place to start for a lighter camera. And for my cameras, I have a bunch of cases just to keep them safe. This one is very small and cute. This one is for my Sony, just a little bag to keep on me whenever I want to take out my camera. This one I bought when I got my Canon 60D because I wanted something that didn't necessarily look like a camera case so I don't get robbed. It's really cute. It fits my camera in one lens. Then I got a lens case right here. So this one's nice, but I eventually outgrew this because I got so many other lenses and I needed a place to keep them all. So I eventually just got this Vivitar camera backpack thing. Only downside to this is that if you go out with this, people know you have camera and they might want to take it from you. But other than that, it's super convenient because when you open it up, it has a bunch of different compartments. So you can put all of your lenses plus your camera in here and it's just all in one spot, which is what I really wanted because I hated having a bunch of different bags with a bunch of different lenses everywhere and then you lose everything. So this is my best thing ever for my camera and all my lenses, and then you can put it on your back. And last but not least, I have two things for lighting. Well, three things for lighting. One of them, I have my ring light, which I'm using right now. That is my favorite one. I use it for all of my videos, especially like now when I want to film and the sun's down. It's perfect. It gives me good quality light. And it's really easy to set up because you just put it up, put it down, that's it. The other two that I have are two soft lights. Those are definitely more annoying to put up and down, so I don't use them as much anymore. But like right now, if I want extra lighting so it doesn't look like shadowy, then I'll take them out and I use my soft lights for that. So those are really good to have as well. So you guys can choose either a ring light or soft lights. Both will work, but personally I prefer to start off with a ring light because it's really good and easy to use. The third little light that I use, Marcus actually gave me for Christmas. It's really cute. It's like a little ring light for your phone, and I don't really use it very often, but it did help for my vlogs because it was just like an extra little light when I needed it. So that was really fun and convenient. And of course, the thing that you guys see me talking about all over my Instagram is my cute little remote that helps me take images myself. So this connects to my Canon. I can just click it and it takes pictures for me. It's the best thing I've ever gotten because I can take pictures whenever I want all by myself. And I want to just mention for editing, I use Lightroom, Photoshop for my photos. I usually only use Photoshop when it comes to thumbnails and things like that on my YouTube channel, but for all my photos I use Lightroom. I did make a video on how I edit all my photos, so I'll link that down there. And for editing my videos, I use Final Cut Pro. I love it. It's super easy to use and it's just a really great program. But if you are just starting, I recommend just using what you have. Obviously, if you have a Mac, iMovie is just as great and it's free, so you can go ahead and use that. For Windows, I'm not so sure. I started off with Windows Movie Maker, so if you do have that for free, you might as well use that and try to make the most of it until you can afford to buy something else. And I think that's pretty much it. If I have missed anything and you have any more questions, please leave those in the comments below. And obviously, I do want to mention, like, you don't need all this fancy gear to start creating content. If you don't have the money to start like buying all this fancy things and equipment and all that stuff, you don't need it. If you have an iPhone, you can create content. You can create good content. Like, you really can't tell the difference sometimes between an image that you take on a phone and an image with a DSLR. I'm gonna actually show you guys so I can prove that point. iPhone, DSLR. Sometimes you really just can't tell. And also, even for videos, if you want to start a YouTube channel, if you want to make vlogs, you can start with your iPhone and no one would even know the difference because there is such great quality nowadays on iPhones. I'll show you as well. This vlog was an iPhone. This vlog was with a camera. Obviously, with those you can tell a little bit of the difference, but you can still get really great quality when it comes to your iPhone and just start creating content. If you want to create content, then you can create content. Don't let yourself be limited. Just go with what you have. I even made an IGTV video last week explaining how I did it myself. So if you guys want help and want to see the behind the scenes of how to take your own Instagram images, that will also be in the description below. So that was it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope that it could be useful in any way. If you did enjoy it, give it a thumbs up. And if you had any further questions about anything that I mentioned, go ahead and leave a comment below. I'm gonna go ahead and leave a link in the description with all of the equipment that I mentioned. I do buy all my stuff on Amazon, so it's gonna be a quick link to Amazon, and they'll show you everything that I mentioned in this video. Don't forget to subscribe for videos every 2 weeks, and I'm gonna go ahead and leave all my social media down there as well, so go ahead and give me a follow. I will see you guys all on the next video. Bye!